Hey everyone, it's your girl leahclinay, and I'm back with another video. Today I want to focus on growth. Growing can feel uncomfortable. Growing can feel sometimes it can be easy, but sometimes it can be hard, and most of the times it's hard. If it's really easy, 9 times out of 10 you're not really growing, you're just comfortable. One thing about growth that I want y'all to understand is that it never stops. Growing is not just one assignment. Same thing with healing, in which healing is a part of growing. Growing is a part of healing. It's not linear. It's literally ups and downs, a roller coaster. Life is a roller coaster, right? You don't want to come to it or approach it as if, oh, it's just going to happen one time and then we're done. Nah, it's going to be multiple things in life to where we have to heal, we have to grow from. So if we accept that and we are okay with it, then life is going to become a little easier because we're not going against it. You know, anything that you go against or you try to stop from happening that's going to happen, you're making it harder for yourself. I just want to emphasize the fact that it's going to happen. You're going to grow. Life is literally all about growth. Everything that God created, 9 times out of 10 is about growth. The plants, the trees, the grass, animals, humans, everything grows. So everything has a starting point. Literally, our life begins with growth. And it don't even begin from when we're born. It starts at conception. It starts the moment that we are conceived. We start to grow. That sperm cell starts to grow. That, I don't know much about science or the technical terms, but that sperm cell meets that egg, and from that point forward, it's all about growth. Growth never stops. Think about it. When we were conceived in the womb, if it would have, at any point, if the growing process would have stopped, we wouldn't even be here. The fact that our life begins with growth lets us know that the rest of our life is going to be about growth. Whether it's in life, whether it's us literally turning older or becoming older, whether it's a skill or something we're trying to practice, something we're trying to learn, it requires growth. Sometimes we try to stop it from happening because for some of us, growing scares us because we're comfortable. We're used to where we have been or where we are. And when we can feel uncomfortability, or we can feel when something's about to change, because I know y'all, I know I'm not tripping. I can't be the only one that gets that feeling. I can feel when something is about to change in my life, and it is so scary. It can be scary, but if you approach it with the mindset of, God, I don't know what this feeling is. I don't know what is about to change in my life. I don't know why I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know why I'm a little, scared. Whatever's about to happen, because I have that feeling, I know that I'm about to grow. So I'm excited when I get that feeling of, oh, I need to change something in my life, or I'm in a point where, okay, I feel a little uneasy because I'm not confident in this yet. I don't know much about it yet. I get more so excited, or I try to make myself excited versus scared, because I know whatever this feeling is, I don't know what it's going to look like. I can think that I know what I'm going to gain from it, but just the simple fact of knowing something's going to change, or something new is going to come from this, something beautiful and something better is going to come from this, makes me excited. It makes me happy. It makes me anxious, but in a good way. Something to look forward to. And talking about comfortability and being content, when we know we're about to grow, we get scared. We're scared of growth because we don't want to leave that comfortable spot in our lives, right? But I don't want to make it seem like comfortability is such a bad thing, because it's not. In life, we have to learn to get comfortable with certain things. We have to learn to adapt in different areas of our life, because we weren't used to something before. So we have to, adapt to it, and we get comfortable, and we get, okay, when you start a new job, you remember your first day, how scared you were. At some point, there's going to be a day you realize, like, dang, I come in, I clock in, I start working, I'm talking to my coworkers, I'm confident, I'm teaching new employees how to do stuff. So that's a good thing, but don't let that prohibit you from growing even more. Learn to adapt, learn to get comfortable in new areas of your life. Don't ever get to a point where you're not growing, especially when you know it's time. When you know it's time to grow. Sometimes we ignore that feeling when it's time to, you know, all right, it's time to learn this or learn that or learn from this lesson. We get scared and we try to stop it from happening. But you have to allow yourself to grow. Anything that is not growing is dead. If you're not growing at all in any aspect of your life, you should be worried because you're stagnant. Anything that is not growing is dead. If a flower stops growing, it's going to slowly slump over and become dead. It's going to go away. I hate for that to happen to some of you. Something so beautiful, something that started out so beautiful, because you didn't allow yourself to continue to grow, it became dead and it became something not beautiful anymore. There is so much beauty in growth. Even if we can't see what's on the other side or what's in the future, there's something so beautiful in the growth, in the growing process. When something starts out and then, you know, you're so eager for it to grow and for it to start, you know, becoming whatever it is that you want it to become. And when it becomes that, it's like, yes, this is what I wanted. But in reality, the finished product sometimes isn't even the best feeling or the best thing. When you look back at that process, that is where the true beauty is. That is where the true magic really happens, because without that part, you wouldn't even get the result. Say, for example, at a point in my life where I'm trying to learn something new, or I'm trying to get better at stuff with my photography and videography and editing and, you know, my YouTube and content in general, I get a little like uncomfortable sometimes because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have so much to learn, have so much to you know, get better at, and it's scary. And I keep focusing on, I can't wait till I get to that point in my life where, you know, I'm making this type of content, where I have this type of camera, I have this type of editing software. I had to stop myself one day and I had to literally tell myself, like, Leah, you just practicing, you doing photo shoots without knowing much, but you're willing to learn, you're willing to search up those YouTube videos when you get stuck, you're willing to take down notes when you get stuck. That is beautiful. This part is beautiful. So don't miss out on enjoying this growing process because you can't wait to be better at whatever it is that you want to be better at. Right now, what you're going through right now is going to be the beautiful part, because you're going to look back at it one day and be like, dang, I remember when I first started. I remember when I didn't know what I was doing. I want you guys to know that there's just so much beauty in growing, in the growth process. It's so beautiful. The ups, the downs, the falls, the fails, the breaks, the mistakes. The process is what makes it. Before you can even begin to grow, you have to start. The key to growth and healing and evolving is just starting. Same with life. When we began, we had to be conceived first. Like, there had to be action. There had to be something that happened for us to even begin to grow, for us to even become who we are. There had to be a start. There had to be a beginning. Even when God was creating the earth and the world, there was the beginning. There was light. There was a moment where things have to start. If you feel like you're not growing in certain areas of your life, it may be because you haven't even took that step to start. Wherever it is, whatever it looks like for you, you haven't even started. And that's why you don't even feel no type of growth, because you're scared to start. But a year is going to go by regardless. A month is going to go by regardless. A day is going to go by regardless. So are you going to keep procrastinating your starting point? If you keep procrastinating your starting point, you're going to continue to procrastinate your growth. You're going to continue to procrastinate the results and the next step and the better version of yourself and the more skilled version of yourself. Don't look at other people's growing processes and healing processes. It's like, oh my God, they've gotten so far, and but guess what? They had to start. They had an ugly process too. They had a rough beginning too. They had a rough start too. But you and your life and your path, you have to start. You have to find that part and that confidence and that faith and that strength to just start. And when you start, you have to prepare yourself that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be always perfect. You're not going to always make the right decisions. But when I have started things in my life and new journeys in my life, I look back at the parts that I messed up. I look back at the parts that I was scared, or I was insecure, or I was nervous. Because I can look back at it and see how much I grew from it, that is what's so beautiful. And that's why I tell y'all that the beauty is in growth. The beauty is in the growing process, not the results all the time. Because I look back at where I started and where I am now, and I'm like, damn, that's beautiful. But guess what? I wouldn't even be where I am now if I would have never started. I wouldn't even have my own business if I would have never even went to esthetician school and stopped going to university and decided to go to a trade school. I wouldn't even be here, right? I wouldn't even know the skills that I have if I didn't have my first job. I didn't like having a 9-to-5. I didn't like working for somebody else. But I needed to start somewhere. I knew that much. The same with, like I said, with life starts with us in conceiving. And when we are a baby and we start to learn how to talk and we start to learn how to walk, that stage ain't always pretty. You know, we might fall, we might bump our heads, we might scratch ourselves. But there's beauty in that once we realize, like, I can walk now. To end the video and not talk about so much about myself and my own experiences, I want you guys to take a moment. If you're in a place in your life right now where you feel a little stagnant or you know, too comfortable, you ain't growing, and you're scared to take that next step, you know it's time, you know what steps you need to take, but you're scared to take it. I want you to look back at a time in your life where you were overcoming something, you were going through something, you were starting something, and remember how uncomfortable that was for you. Remember how scary that was, or the pain you were going through. Think about where you are now. Just use an example in your life, look back at it, and look at where you are now. Think about every step. Think about the starting point. Think about the thought of it. Think about the actions you started to take, you had to take, things you had to learn, people you had to talk to, places that you had to go. Think about those times that you failed. Think about those times that you messed up. Think about those times that you were embarrassed, or you weren't confident in your work. And think about where you are now. This can apply to so many different things, not just with learning stuff or, you know, attaining or acquiring new skills. Think about when you were trying to get over somebody. It required growth, because guess what? There was definitely a time where you were crying late at night thinking it was impossible to get over this person. And present day, you might still have some room to grow in, but think about it. You wake up, you're okay without that person. You're having fun. You have your own hobbies and your own skills and your job and your own life. It's a process. But guess what? There had to be a beginning. There had to be a start. There had to be a thought. There had to be some action. When you feel yourself beginning to grow and beginning to change and beginning to embark on a new journey or chapter, remember that there is so much beauty in that. Take in every step, take in every moment, every failure, every mistake. Take it in. Acknowledge how each step makes you feel, because there's going to be a day that comes that those are just going to be memories. Those are just going to be something to look back on. Even when you get to where you want to be, you're going to miss that journey. You're going to miss that process. And that growth is going to be so beautiful. Looking back on that growth is going to be so beautiful, and that's what gives you the energy to continue to grow. Because when new things face you, when you are faced with new assignments over your life, each time you're going to have a little bit more confidence, a little bit more strength, and a little bit more excitement, because you know there was a point in your life that you had to start and you had to grow with something, and you overcame, and you're here now. So you know, you might not know what the next thing looks like. You might not know what the future looks like, or it might not be so easy this time around. But you know deep down something is going to come out of it, and the growing process is going to be so beautiful. Growing pains. It sounds scary. It sounds like it hurts, and it do. Growing pains, it do. It's uncomfortable, but it's so beautiful, because guess what? It pushes you to another part of yourself you didn't even know was there. And we often say we're finding ourselves a lot, and I do believe that is a good quote. But instead of thinking about it as if we're finding ourselves, we were never lost. These parts that we discover about ourselves were always there. We just had to acknowledge it. We had to become aware of it. The growth is beautiful. The growth is exciting. The start is gonna be a little scary, but remember that the growth is beautiful. So you don't have to be afraid to start. You don't have to be afraid to take that next step. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to talking to you guys. Oftentimes when I'm talking to y'all, I am talking to myself. These notes and these words come from my journal, so it's literally just me venting and talking about my very own life experiences, but I want to share those with you guys so that we can all grow together. When I have these realizations, I might as well not gatekeep and keep it to myself. Put it out there and let somebody else hear it and grow from it as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the family. Join the CLINAYTION. I love y'all. I will see you guys in the next video.
Heart of gold and melanin. That same strong kind of love, hold you down kind of love. That watch the way you talk to me and my kind of love. Respect is earned, but with me you're quiet, 'cause your license